Hi, Supernaturals. Hi, Supernaturals. It's your host, Beverly, the CEO of Hair Scripts, the platform that is connecting Black women experiencing hair loss to dermatologists, trichologists, and other specialists for treatment and support. So I am here today with Ebuni Ajiduah. Am I saying it correctly?
Yeah, that's all good. That's all good.
Okay, perfect. So we're here to talk about, of course, hair loss, but specifically myths, right? Debunking hair growth and regrowth myths that you guys may find online, on YouTube, wherever you find it. We kind of want to tell you how to get help right away for your hair loss. And we're going to jump in right now. So, Ebony, tell me about your quick story about how you got to this point. What made you go into trichology? What led you here?
Cool. So actually, I used to be a hairdresser for a long while. And before that, I was a science teacher. And so I've got a history of like doing science and doing hair and working in the salons, especially with Black women. I would see lots and lots of hair loss, but not really understand why it's happening. And I'm sure if you've been to the salon, you've had treatments done, you've had like styles done. And I would always be like, this treatment doesn't match up to what this person's experiencing or why so many people having it. So I don't know how I came across trichology, but I was just like, this is for me. This mixes science and hair, my two favorite things. I get to find out what's really happening. And so since I studied, I've really tried to hone my practice in on Black women to make sure that we're getting the information that we need, because it can be confusing sometimes. We don't always know the best is for our hair. Everyone's going natural. We're kind of like getting information from each other. And I want to make sure everything is like helpful, not harmful.
So let's talk about that. Why do you feel that we're getting misinformation? Where is this coming from?
I feel like a lot of it is just because, like, when it comes to hair care, and in fact, when it comes to Black people, we're not studied enough, or we're not like given priority. And so things that affect us are kind of just like passed on to the side. We're not given as much research funding, that kind of thing. So when we experience things, it's kind of just like, oh, we have to kind of go to our community rather than being trusted by medical professionals, because we've got like a long history of them kind of like, you know, not doing the best when it comes to us.
Right.
Like, mistrust as well. So you're more likely to trust, you know, your cousin, your auntie, your sister, your mom, your friend, the lady down the road, rather than what a professional might be saying. And so in that sense, sometimes the things that we do might not have like a good understanding of why it's actually occurring, and then the treatments that we use for it sometimes are not very effective as well.
Okay, so I feel like I'm getting some feedback every time I speak. I'm not sure if it's on my end,
It's
but
okay, it's all good.
okay, you hear me clear, right?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly.
So let's speak to that woman right now who is noticing that her hair is getting thinner, is shedding excessively, regardless of the reason, because there's so many different reasons for hair loss, right? But regardless, she knows this is something's not right. What is it that you recommend that she does immediately?
Immediately, I would say go and speak to your doctor. So, and that can also be like the first hurdle. So I know so many people think that, you know, it's just hair loss, it's probably not a big deal, I don't want to waste their time, especially now living through a pandemic where it's like people are dying and stuff like that. But usually hair loss is a sign of something else happening. And so we want to try and get to what is causing it in the first place. And that could be something serious. So if you're experiencing shedding that's lasted a couple of weeks, you're not sure why it's happening, definitely go and speak to your doctor first, and then try and seek out a dermatologist or a trichologist who can then try and diagnose you and then give you the appropriate treatments for it.
Okay, so a primary care doctor first.
Yeah, definitely, because what you want to do is get blood tests done. So usually if it's like something like shedding, could be like a sign of deficiency, it could be postpartum, it could be a multiple kinds of things. And sometimes a quick blood test can figure out these are like key issues we need to address. And you can even like get help there and then.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm so sorry. This is
okay.
I have my 4-year-old in the background. So anyway, I just wanted to know, what are some of the pathways? Like, what are some of the causes of hair loss? What could be some of those underlying causes?
Yeah, so really simple ones, especially for women. A lot of the things I see is something like anemia. So women with like heavy periods, going through different changes, iron levels get depleted. And that's a really, really common one that can cause shedding. Vitamin D. Lots of people have like nutritional deficiencies. So if you're not eating like a very well balanced diet, or if you're not able to absorb all of those things, those are really quick ones that cause like a lot of shedding and like are easily reversible. Other things that I see could be like parts of like changing medications. So lots of women who are taking contraceptions or things like that, or medications for other illnesses or disorders, can have hair loss as a side effect. Now, it may not be that the medication causes hair loss. It could just be that the change in your body as you've tried a new medication, it takes it a little while to adjust. And so in that kind of like adjustment period, your body's a bit like, oh, I'm not too sure what's happening. And you lose your hair for a little period, but it usually comes back straight after.
So we're talking about debunking myths. So name some of the top, let's do a top 2, right? Top 2 myths that you hear a lot online that people hear.
Okay, top 2 is greasing your scalp. So this is actually just an accident. I just put this on. This is like a t-shirt I have at home. But greasing your scalp is like number 1. It doesn't help. It's not beneficial. I know everyone's probably screaming like, what? My scalp is going to be dry. What can I use? Listen, every hair has an oil gland, and that lubricates your scalp. You don't need to add anything more. Because we're so used to doing it, our body's kind of like, if you're going to do it, I'm not. And so it kind of relaxes. But once you get a really good washing schedule, your hair starts to like produce the oils that you need, and it kind of like gets out of that cycle of being really, really dry. Also, lots of Black women have a condition called seborrheic dermatitis, which is where we get like lots of buildup, lots of dead cells on our scalp, where we get like dandruff and really big flakes. And so from that, people then want to put oil on to try and like combat it. But the oils actually feed the yeast and the fungus that breed and cause it to be worse. So it's like a cycle.
So I wanted to stop for 2 seconds because don't grease your scalp. You mean don't grease your scalp with hair grease or with
hair grease or oils, or you don't need to put stuff in your scalp all the time. No.
So wow. So this is controversial, right? Some controversy.
I just ask people to try it, and usually what happens is that like the first week, I'm not going to lie to you, it can be a bit hellish. Your scalp will feel more dry, more tight than usual, but just ignore the voices. Just go through, keep washing your hair every 7 to 10 days or more if you need to, and then you will be fine. Most people, it's just that beginning 2-3 washes that are kind of like, oh, actually, no, this feels worse than usual. But once you get over that hurdle, it's clear sailing. You don't need to go back to it.
People who like to use things like essential oils to stimulate hair growth, and they need to use a carrier oil because they can't use the essential oil directly on their scalp.
Good. Okay, so I'm glad you said essential oils and then carrier oils, because if you're using something like peppermint, tea tree, any of those like little essences, you have to mix them with something because they can burn your skin really badly. I'm not a fan of oils in general anymore. Like, I've just trained myself out of it. I find that there's not much need for them. But if you still like to use oils, use them as like a pre-treatment. So put them on, leave it on for a little while, and then wash them off. You need to have a really good shampoo to get rid of all that stuff afterwards. They're great on like the ends if you've got like hair that tends to tangle a lot, so you need it to lubricate. But in terms of like stimulation or like growth, it's not doing it. I can't even say it any simpler.
Don't be afraid.
Yeah, it's not cutting it, to be really honest. And like I always say, I have this joke that like if castor oil was so good at what it did, like places like Jamaica and the Caribbean would be just like a big castor oil farm. Like, they wouldn't be anything else, because they would be like, no, this stuff like is really working. Like, it doesn't.
So what do you recommend instead?
So mostly, if you have good practices, that's going to help you more than anything. So a regular washing schedule. So using shampoo first, then conditioner, detangling really, really well, using appropriate tools. And then if you find that you still have an issue, then it's time to see your doctor and get some help. Then it's time to see a trichologist or a dermatologist to get specialist treatments for each condition that you might be facing. So it's hard to just kind of say, oh, this is work, so go and get this product. It's really just have a really good routine, and that can show you where any problems may lie.
Right. So especially if we're product junkies, or if we've been using products supposedly, allegedly to, if we do the LOC treatment, the LCO treatment, you're talking of women who feel like oils are the holy grail, right?
Yeah, no, you can X them out. Right. You can X them out.
To tell us cold turkey, just go without it.
You can just go cold turkey. Yeah. But if you find that you need to just like kind of wean yourself out of it, I would say definitely wean it out of your scalp first, and then maybe like a pre-treatment, and just then you'll see that you don't actually need it. when it comes to product junkies as well, listen, I'm all for you guys chasing, buying new things that smell really good or feel really nice, but you only need like 5 good products, like a shampoo, a conditioner, a leave-in. Those are like my top 3 holy grail. Then like a styling product, and maybe like a cream or an oil for like the ends if your hair gets drier, or just like depending on what look you're trying to go for.
Okay, so let's talk about the 5 products. What kind
Okay.
of shampoo do you recommend?
So, okay, good. So this depends on your needs. So for me, I've got seborrheic dermatitis. So I will use a different shampoo on my scalp than I will do on my hair. And then the ends of my hair are colored. So I'll try and use something that's really moisturizing. So pick and choose your products based on what you need. So you might need a completely different shampoo to me because your scalp might be like balanced. So you might just need like a normal shampoo, whereas I need something that's really going to like lift up all the flakes and get rid of any debris. So then I choose that. With my conditioner, because my hair is colored, it's in locks, I use a really nice moisturizing deep conditioner. I like my hair to feel soft.
Yeah.
If you have locks as well, you can use conditioner. You just don't want to leave it to sit on for too long, and then rinse it all out like sparingly as well.
Okay.
A really good leave-in conditioner, so something that's water-based. And what people don't realize is that a lot of people like to like do DIYs and things like that. But I'm like, if someone has made a really good product, they've taken out all the work for me. They've made sure that the product is like formulated really well, so it has everything that my hair needs, and so then I can just use that and stop. So after me, it's shampoo. Say again.
Is there a specific brand you recommend?
I really like a brand called Trichologist. They have this amazing conditioner called it's like quinoa conditioner. That's like top product. If I'm going to recommend someone, that's the one I'm going to recommend. If you go to my Instagram or on my website, ebuniajiduah.com or Ebuni Ajiduah hair, I'm sure it'll be typed up. I do have like some links of other products that I really, really like. So you can kind of pick and choose. So for me, it's like shampoo, conditioner, leave-in, and then I'm done. I don't need to do anything else. If you're going to wear a style, you might use a gel or something like that, but you can just kind of like really focus on what your hair likes rather than just
about gel really quick. There's still kind of like this tug of war about whether gel is actually good or not good for your hair, right?
So I don't really like the good or not good unless it's harmful. It's the manner in which people use things. So when my hair was loose, I used to love a twist out, slicked edges. We all go through that kind of thing. It's just about your caring for your hair afterwards. So if you're going to use a gel, you have to make sure you're washing your hair regularly. You don't want all that build up on there. You don't want to be pulling your hair too tightly. You want to make sure that it's really, really moisturized underneath. So it's about the way in which you use it. Do you know what I mean? Rather than like the product itself being like, oh no, you should stay away from like gels or, that kind of thing.
Okay. And so I want you to just give me the name of that leave-in conditioner one more time, because we're going to link it down in the description box.
Okay. It's the Trichologist quinoa conditioner. That one. It's on the pricier end, but you know how like you're used to scooping your conditioner? I usually use like one pump and then I'm done. It lasts for ages.
And it's a leave-in conditioner, right?
No, it's a deep conditioner.
Oh, it's a deep conditioner. Okay.
Yeah.
Trichologist quinoa conditioner.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the goat.
Now you did recommend oil for the ends, right? So
if you choose to use oils, that one is your preference. I personally don't use them on myself or on my clients anymore because I find that I don't need to. But if you are wanting to use the oil, that's where I recommend to use them, just on like the ends when you're doing twists or like a style. They're kind of like all, as long as it's not like castor oil, I'm kind of like, do what you're doing.
You're like, okay, just stay away from castor. Okay, so what's the second? So let's do one more myth. This is fun. Debunk another myth.
So the second myth is taking supplements when you don't need to. So I know I spoke at the beginning saying,
girl, you are, ooh, child.
I know some people are going to be upset. They're going to be asking questions about me.
Ooh, child. Let's go. Let's talk about supplements.
So the one that is in my mind is biotin, and that's the one that's like, if you type in, oh, my hair's not growing, that biotin. There are no studies that show that biotin by itself is useful in hair growth.
I actually agree with you on biotin, and
it's just, and I find that the reason I tell people to go and get medical help first is because, as I said, hair loss is usually a symptom of something. So we want to find out what it is, and that directs our treatment. So it's like going to like being like, oh, my leg hurts, and someone being like, oh, here, let me put your arm in a sling. You don't know what's wrong. And so it's just like, that isn't going to help your leg at the end of the day. Making sure that like when you do a blood test, finding out exactly what you need. So it's not that supplements are bad, it's just that they're being used incorrectly.
Right.
So if you take like a multivitamin, sure, I mean, okay, but your diet is the most important thing. If you find that you do have a deficiency, taking appropriate doses of like particular things is really important. So like for me, I take an iron and I take a vitamin D because those have been told to me by my doctors that I'm a bit low in those. So I focus on those ones rather than taking like a zinc or anything else. Because I'm like, it's not going to help me because it's not what I need at the moment.
So to reiterate what you're saying, you're not anti-supplement. You're more so take what you need for whatever underlying conditions you have, and that will treat the hair loss within itself.
That will treat the thing that you need, rather than just like when I see like all like these gummies or like shots or whatever people are doing, I'm like, okay. And then a lot of them are just things like a lot of them are like vitamins that you might not even be able to like keep in your body for more than 1 day. So I'm like, you're paying for really expensive piss, because it's just gonna go straight through. Your body's not storing some of these vitamins that are in there. So I'm like, have a really good diet, like, you know, eat lots of fruits and vegetables, change up that kind of thing. That's the way your body's gonna absorb it more, rather than just a generic supplement for hair.
I love it. That was fun. I would go for a third one, but I like to keep these short because, you know, a lot of us ain't got long attention spans.
Yeah, I feel like I've already, like, you know, some people are still stuck on the oil. They're just like, whoa.
Yeah, they haven't moved past the oil. They're like, girl. But what she was saying, to reiterate, was that your body produces, your strands produce their own natural oil. So the more you kind of wash your hair, the more you kind of stimulate that oil production, right?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. And some people, they will need extra help apart from that. But my thing is, put healthy practices in place, and then you can see when things are going wrong, rather than just do this, have this like 12-step routine, and then you're kind of like, oh, nothing's working, but you haven't really found out what part is going wrong.
So so I like your strategy. Your strategy is don't add a whole bunch of stuff to repair the hair loss. Remove a lot of stuff first.
Yeah, so when I'm treating my clients, regardless of what they have, I put them on a really strict regime of like, you must wash your hair every 7 to 14 days. I don't care what style your hair is in. It must see shampoo and water and conditioner in that time period. And then I can be like, okay, these are appropriate styles for you to do. Take pictures. So at the beginning, you were losing how much hair? This is how you detangle. And I find that a lot of people just have not great practices. And so in that kind of just putting like, you know, a good regime in place, I can be like, okay, actually, why were you doing this bit? Or maybe this product is appropriate for you. And we can knock out loads of their problems without even having it to be lengthy.
Awesome. Well, people find you if they want treatment or help.
Yeah. So because of Corona, I'm actually doing virtual consultations, so I can see more people across the globe. So if you're watching this from anywhere in the world and you have hair loss, you can book a consultation with me. And the best way to find me is on Instagram. So it's my name, Ebuni Ajiduah Hair, all one word. There I have lots more myths. So if you're kind of intrigued and trying to find out what else is good or not good, or what products I like, there's stuff there. I'm just going to Clubhouse as well, so I'll be hosting some chats on there. But yeah, well, some pieces coming. So yeah, just search Ebuni Ajiduah. Yeah. We can do something together on there. So yeah, it's really, really simple. Oh, I also have a podcast, sorry, forgetting, called Snatched Edges, where I talk about these kind of things in a bit more depth as well.
No worries. We will put all your information down in the description box for people to find you. And yes, we need to connect on Clubhouse. Let's get it popping.
Yeah. I'm gonna hit you up later on.
Growth, yes. So thank you so much, Ebuni. Everyone, thank you. Look down, please subscribe, like, comment if you have any questions. Not even questions, but comment below if you disagree with the hair oil and the hair growth stuff.
I mean, you could disagree. You're wrong.
Let's make this a conversation. I'm really excited to hear what people have to say. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Take care, everyone. Be safe.
Bye.